I'm 28 years old, I'm about to be married, and I feel like all I ever hear from people who are older are, well, it's always been expensive to raise children. It's always been hard to raise children. Your generation is just so lazy, like you're not willing to give up things to have children. If you really wanted kids, you'd find a way to make it work. Here's the thing, like I absolutely want kids. Like I absolutely want to have a family with my future husband. Whenever I try to engage in good conversation and good faith, like debate with people who are older, who just simply don't understand the current economic situation, particularly when it comes to raising children and how much that costs, any sort of numbers that I give just go right over their heads. They just like refuse to process them. I fall back on the, well, it's always been hard. It's always been hard. If you really wanted it, you would just do it. But this article came out today from Fast Company saying that the overall cost of raising a child is $300,000. There are a few other statistics that I want to bring up from this article. The lifetime cost of raising children has jumped by over 25% in just the past 2 years. Something that I always say when I'm having, hoping to have good faith arguments with people who are older, who don't quite understand the current economic situation of raising children, is this is not the same playing field that you were playing with years ago. Not even comparable. They're not even remotely the same. And when you look at numbers like this, it's raised over 25% in 2 years. This is why. This is what I'm saying. Not like even playing in the same dimension. You know what I mean? Something else I found interesting, across many states, families need to earn an average of $180,000 to comfortably afford infant care. If you live in places like California and New York, that's $250,000 just to afford somebody to take care of your baby while you're at work. Since 2023, the annual cost of raising a child, now this isn't a lifetime cost, this is the annual cost of raising a child, has jumped nearly 36%. And childcare costs have spiked over 50% more in the past 2 years. This isn't to mention the fact that food costs have jumped 30% since 2023. You gotta feed kids if you have them. They eat like a lot of berries and stuff. They love berries. Housing costs have skyrocketed. Healthcare costs have skyrocketed. Families used to get a larger child tax credit during the pandemic, but that went away. So now they get less again. All this to say, I will just keep screaming it to the heavens. This is not the same playing field that people were playing with in 2000, in 1990, in 1980. Always been hard to raise kids. It's always been expensive to raise kids. No one is taking that away from you, but you lose nothing by acknowledging that it's never been this bad before. These costs are just unsustainable. This is not working. People are not having kids for this reason. And I think people my age who are thinking about having kids need to be aware of this. This isn't any sort of anti-natalist thing, because once again, I want to have kids. I think people should have kids, but I think people should be able to have kids without financially devastating themselves. I don't quite see why that is such a crazy thing to ask of. And I think a government that's asking people to have children should be looking for ways to invest in families and to invest in children. Instead of, raising costs for all of us by imposing global tariffs, cutting Head Start programs, cutting SNAP benefits so people can't buy food for their children, cutting Medicaid because that's what half of people, and especially half of pregnant women, depend on to receive healthcare, to be able to go to the doctor. Oh, did I just get political? Oops. Yeah, long story short, TLDR, not the same playing field. You should care about young people who are trying to start families, and you should vote to help them. If the young people in your life aren't having babies and that's making you upset, maybe consider looking at the data, looking at the facts, and realizing why they're choosing not to make that choice. Because it's absolutely unsustainable. And I fault nobody for not wanting to have kids in an environment like this. We say we can't afford kids. We mean we can't afford kids. Take us seriously when we say that. And if you don't take us seriously, I beg you to look at the statistics, look at the numbers, and get educated. Should not be this hard. It should not be this financially stressful, especially when we have a government who wants us to have babies so bad.